What if that 15% discount your procurement team celebrates is actually costing you money? Procurement negotiates the deal of the year. Everyone cheers, servers arrive, and then they sit in boxes for 90 days because facilities aren't ready and implementation's behind. Depreciation starts, maintenance contracts tick, warranty runs down, talk, and all the labor that went into research, testing, and proof of concept, nobody counts it. That 15% discount, gone before the first server boots. I'm Rob Boyd, and this is Priority 2 from WWT Strategic IT Value Creation Research, Strategic Technology Partnerships.
WWT presents Research.
Priority 1 gave us visibility, seeing what software you have and what you spend and where your waste hides. Priority 2, today's show builds on that by changing how you work with technology partners, not just vendors, but anybody delivering technology, services, or expertise. The real question, are those partnerships strategic or are they just transactional? Most organizations think that they've nailed procurement. They negotiate hard, they get discounts, and they follow process. But they're missing massive value by not seeing the complete picture. To understand that picture, I spoke with Matt Long, who works with some of Worldwide Technology's largest enterprise clients, organizations spending hundreds of millions annually on technology.
I think one of the main challenges that sometimes you can see is these organizational silos and not getting everyone to the table to talk through all of the priorities and how you can best achieve them. Because there's often times where sourcing needs to serve a line of business, they need to serve the C-suite, they need to serve the IT organization. No one's doing anything intentionally by building up these silos. Everyone's going so fast and there's so many different things that are thrown at these organizations that it can just be a challenge to get all the groups together in the appropriate way. And that does create challenges. And it results in suboptimal decision-making that has big impacts when you're looking at your technology budget.
Silos aren't built out of malice, they're built out of speed. Procurement's measured on cost savings, IT on uptime and innovation, business units on quarterly results. Nobody is in the same room solving for all priorities at once.
Was in a meeting with some senior IT stakeholders in a large enterprise. The meeting was supposed to be an open discussion, including WWT, the IT organization, and the sourcing office inside of that client. The sourcing team was absent, weren't able to make it for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure of the context, but the comment was made from the IT stakeholders that I need my colleagues in sourcing to be on the same page with me. We need to be operating as a cohesive team to move forward with what we need to get done to transform this business. And I'll contrast it with another story, another interaction with a different client where we not only had the sourcing team in the room, but we also had the IT organization and we also had the line of business. So having all three parties openly discussing what their priorities were and are, where their challenges lie and where their challenges are and how they can work together to address those. It's a very different dynamic that you see.
That's the shift, right? When those groups align, transformation stops being a buzzword and becomes achievable. So why does this matter beyond teamwork? Because when organizations miss alignment, money leaks everywhere.
What is the point of which you're measuring the costs associated with technology purchases? I know we often talk about lifecycle or lifecycle value. What's the starting point of that? I would put forth that lifecycle should start at the point of teams doing research around what is the right technology decision or what's the right technology that's needed to move a business strategy forward is a much more logical and holistic starting point as opposed to the point of purchase, because there's a lot of effort and cost and work that goes into even arriving at the point of you're going to make a purchase of various technology architectures or services or software to move that strategy forward.
That's the unaccounted spend that nobody tracks. Then you add timing, Buy too early and depreciation starts while equipment gathers dust.
If you're celebrating successes on a massive discount that you secured at the point of purchase, but you make the purchase, you ship the equipment, but you haven't necessarily made the environment ready to receive and implement that equipment, then you've got this whole other compounding set of costs that very quickly erode any additional discount that you were able to secure. At timing of any given purchase is also critically important in terms of lining up when the cash is going out the door to the point of consumption, as you want to line those up as close as you possibly can.
When that pattern repeats across hundreds of purchases, the financial impact is massive. And that's why visibility and alignment matter, because you can't optimize what you can't see.
I think one of the biggest areas of opportunity in that space is having a good starting point. And what I mean by that is having very good visibility into your spend profile. How much are you actually spending on technology products, services, software?
Is that a question that some people don't have a ready answer for? Like what their spend is across these categories?
You would think that large organizations would always have a good handle on that. That's not always the case. And I'm not saying that to say that's anyone's fault. If you look at even just the technology purchasing chain, depending on who you're purchasing from, you may not know exactly what that purchase is on. For an example, many of our OEM partners are networking companies, they're compute companies, and they're storage companies. So you might have something in your payables as to this OEM, but what technology category does it flow into? That's not always a very clear line. Similarly, if you're purchasing through a systems integrator or value-added reseller, there's even more connection points that might be lost in there potentially. So having a truly solid picture of your spend profile on what you're spending, who you're spending it with, what you're spending it on by technology domain, what's direct versus indirect spend, those types of things can be a challenge. However, once you get to that point, that's really where you can start to unlock rationalization and optimization opportunities, because when you know what your environment looks like, what your spend profile looks like, the course of action can become a lot more clear in terms of where you want to focus efforts to make the biggest impacts from a financial perspective.
Visibility first, then optimization. Trying to optimize without it is like dieting without paying attention to what you're eating. Well, the research identifies 5 practices that transform procurement from cost control to value creation. Number 1, strategic sourcing and category management. Build category expertise before the crisis hits. Know what you're spending and where. Then there's number 2, lifecycle cost analysis. Start tracking costs the moment research begins, not just at purchase. Number 3, vendor risk management, because risk isn't one and done, it's continuous and multidimensional. Security, operations, timing. And then number 4, standardization and rationalization. Reduce complexity by focusing on the fewest numbers of the right partners. And number 5, agile procurement and contract flexibility. Build flexibility in from the start so that contracts adapt when requirements inevitably change.
When I think of agile procurement and what that means, there's a few different things in there. One is flexibility in terms of how you're making purchases. What are the consumption offerings or methods available to you as an organization? So that's one aspect to it. The other one, the timing of any given purchase is also critically important in terms of lining up when the cash is going out the door to the point of consumption, as you want to line those up as close as you possibly can.
Those 5 practices together turn procurement into a lever for business agility, not a bottleneck. So how do you make this real? Start small. Build trust in just one category. Prove value there, then expand.
Some of our largest customers today from a revenue perspective, or some of our earliest customers as an organization, how we're serving them today looks dramatically different than it did many, many years ago. Our job is to augment and enhance those relationships and serve as, it can be an overused phrase, but to serve as a trusted advisor to our clients. We don't want a customer to spend money that they don't have or money that's not going to move their business forward. We want them to optimize what they're already planning to spend or evaluating to spend in a way that's going to accelerate their business strategies, their business transformation, and ultimately their financial objectives. So it's a very different way to approach the discussion, is that one of optimization as opposed to maximization.
And that's a crucial distinction. A vendor maximizes revenue. A partner optimizes outcomes. One sells you things, the other makes sure that what you buy actually drives your business forward. Well, when partnerships work, the servers arrive when you're ready. Depreciation lines up with value delivery. Maintenance starts when systems go live. Research time drops because category expertise already exists. That's real savings. And even more important, you've built a system for creating value for every time you buy technology going forward. So as always, I encourage you to download the research directly from WWT.com, as there are many additional details, along with links to even more resources that you may need or find useful. The full research context as we wrap things up: Priority 1 gives us visibility. Priority 2 turns that visibility into strategic partnership. Next, Priority 3 is going to apply those skills to cloud governance using FinOps to control costs while maintaining innovation, if you're watching in order. And then finally, Priority 4 brings it all together with workload placement, optimizing where applications run based on business value, not just cost. Well, I'm Rob Boyd. Thanks so much for watching us. WWT presents Research.
This episode is supported by Illumio. Illumio delivers zero-trust segmentation to prevent the spread of cyber threats across your organization. Strengthen your security posture with Illumio's adaptive microsegmentation solutions.